So welcome to the second episode of Ask Maria Anything. Lots of you have been sending in questions, so I won't get a chance to answer all of them, but I'll do my best. I'm back in Westminster this week. This is in my Westminster office. Lots happening, as you will have heard in the news, around coronavirus, around Brexit. So a busy week in Westminster, but lots of local questions coming through as well. So I think this is a question from Sue in Denton. It's a really important question because obviously we're seeing more cases of coronavirus nationally. Thankfully our numbers are still low locally. Now the Amex Stadium did close their facilities because they need their football stadium back at the start of the football season. The Brighton Racecourse set up a temporary site and that too has now closed. So we have got two sites, one in Gatwick and one in Bexhill. And there will be a new site opening up in the next few days because it's really important that we're able to access testing facilities, both for those people who have symptoms, but also as hospitals are reopening, patients need to have that negative test before they start their treatment. So hospitals are starting to offer COVID testing for their patients as well. So if you're having problems getting a test, do contact me because there will be new sites opening up very soon. So there's a planning white paper at the moment, and for those of you that know me well, you know how passionately I feel about protecting our green spaces, and I've worked with residents in places like Wivelsfield, in Newark, in Polegate, and we have successfully managed to keep our green fields green and to stop inappropriate development. So I'm absolutely passionate that we are not building on our green fields, and I'll be working with all local communities to ensure that happens. The planning white paper does look at freeing up the planning system. One classic example locally is the Exeter Bridge. We have been talking about getting that through planning for 3 years now, and hopefully we'll get planning permission in the new year and work can start straight away. But we need to free up the planning system from the bureaucracy and red tape. That doesn't mean, however, building lots of homes on our green spaces. So I want to reassure you that changing the planning law is about freeing up the planning system. It's not necessarily about concreting over the constituency, which I would fight tooth and nail. So we've had some really good news in the last couple of weeks on the fire services in Newhaven. As you know, because I wrote to many of you in Newhaven and sent out leaflets and asked you for your support, there were plans to reduce the fire service in Newhaven and cut a fire engine from the station. And we all know how busy Newhaven is. With the swing bridge, we can be cut off very easily from other parts of the constituency, but we've got a big industrial estate. One of the units caught fire just a couple of weeks ago. We've got access to busy A roads like the A26 and 27, which have frequent accidents, unfortunately. So we need our fire service. And after lobbying really hard, the fire authority changed their mind on cutting the fire services. So our fire services in Newhaven are staying, as they are across Lewis. So that's really, really good news. And thank you for everyone responding, because often many people think, what's the point of responding to a consultation, no one listens. Actually they did this time, and we've got a really good future ahead of us for our fire services in Newhaven. So the trade bill and the farming bill are new ways of doing business post-Brexit. And I've had lots of people contact me over food standards who don't want chlorinated chicken or hormone-injected beef getting into our food chain, and I absolutely agree. So there's absolutely no way that that is going to happen. We put it in primary legislation, so it's the law of this country right now, as part of the withdrawal agreement, that our food standards will be maintained to the same degree as when we were members of the EU. So any new trade deals, whether it's with the US, with Australia, with Japan, cannot lower our food standards. It is the law of this country, a law that I voted for back in January. So when you hear opposition parties talking about chlorinated chicken and hormone injected beef, it's not coming to Britain anytime soon, and it's in British law that cannot happen. So we don't need to amend the trade bill, we don't need to amend the agriculture bill. It's the law of the country right now. Oh my goodness, I eat too much of all foods, I have to say. If I had to eat one food forever, I don't know. One food forever, let me think. That's a really, really difficult question. I don't know who sent this question in, but it's a really tricky one. I guess crisps. I am a bit of a muncher. I don't eat properly, is my first fault, and then I munch through stuff I shouldn't be eating. So I think crisps is I should say something healthy like bananas, but it's crisps probably, and ready salted if you want detail.